Hey everyone, this is Casey from GravityKit. Welcome back. This is video number 5 in the GravityView Quick Start guide. And in the previous videos, we configured a form and a view, and we also took an in-depth look at the GravityView editor. In this video, what we're going to do is look at accessing a view and how to embed a view on a page or post. So first off, a view is actually a custom post type, which means it gets its own permalink here. As you can see by default, it's your domain/view and then the view name. And you can use this URL to access the view directly, like we did before in the previous video. But you do have the option to also embed a view on a page or post or anywhere else on your website. And you can also disable direct access via this default link. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But before I show you how to disable direct access, it is worth noting that you can customize this link if you want to access the view directly. So if we go to the front-end view, you can see the default link is /view and then the view name. And if we click through to a single entry, the URL is /view/ the view name and then /entry and then 2. And this 2 is actually the entry ID of the specific entry that we opened. So this URL is customizable, and you can do that in the GravityKit settings. So if I open up the settings here and then click on GravityView and then permalinks here at the bottom, you'll see that you can customize the URL. So if you don't want it to be /view, you could change it, for example, to /directory. And then for the single entry endpoint, you could perhaps use listing. And then for the entry slug, by default, it uses the entry ID, but you could change that to something else. We do require you to use the entry ID in the slug, though, to ensure that it's a unique URL. And you can do that using this merge tag. So you can just copy that, paste it in there, and then we could put something before it, like company dash and then the ID, for example. Okay, but if you want to disable direct access, you can do that in the view settings. So if I scroll down here and click on the permissions tab, you'll see there's an option here that says prevent direct access. And if I check that, the view will only be accessible via the page or post where it's actually embedded on your site, and it won't be accessible via the default link. All right, so let me update the view here. And now let's look at embedding the view on a page or post. So we can either do that using the shortcode, which is here, and all we need to do is click on that to copy it, or we can do it using a WordPress block. So let me go ahead and create a new page, and I'll give it a name. And here I'm going to add a shortcode block, and I'll paste the shortcode inside. And that's how you can do it, just using the shortcode. And the shortcode does support a range of different parameters. If you wanted to add some filtering conditions and things like that, you can do that through the shortcode. And you can find out more about that in our documentation. Alternatively, you can just use the WordPress block, and then you get some visual controls for that. So let me go ahead and delete this shortcode block. And instead, I'm going to search for GravityView. So I'll type /GravityView. And this is the one we want, GravityView View. You can see there are some additional blocks for embedding additional details here as well. But for now, let me click GravityView View. And then the next thing I need to do is select the view I want to embed from this dropdown. I'll choose our webinar registrations view. And there we go. So there are some settings we can configure here in the block settings on the right. We can choose a date range to filter by. There's some additional settings here like page size and sort field and different things like that. If you want to see a preview of your view inside the editor, you can just toggle this preview here, and then it will actually load inside the editor and you can see exactly what it's going to look like. Okay, perfect. So when you're ready, you can just go ahead and publish the page. And then let's take a look at that on the front end. And there we go. We have our view nicely embedded here, and that's accessible via the page that we just set up. Okay, and then I wanted to quickly go over the other blocks that we have here. So again, I'll type /GravityView, and you can see all the different options here. So the first one, GravityView Entry, allows you to embed one specific entry in your page. So if I select that, I'll need to choose a view, and then I'll need to input an entry ID, and I'll just put entry ID number 2, and then we can preview that. And as you can see, we can see a little preview of that specific entry here. So let's remove that one. And now let's have a look at the others. So the GravityView entry field works very similarly, except it allows you to embed one specific field value instead of an entire entry. The GravityView entry link actually displays a link that goes to a specific entry. So if I add that one, again, I'll need to choose a view, and then an entry ID will input entry number 2 again. We can preview that. You can see it's just a simple link here, view details. But then you also have the option to configure the link settings here and on the right. And you can change it to link through to the edit entry screen if you wanted to, or even change it to a delete entry link. So you have those two options. Okay, and then finally we have the GravityView View Details block. And this allows us to output some information about the view. So again, I'll select the view I want from the dropdown. And then here on the right, you'll notice there's a dropdown field, and I can choose what I want to display. And I can either display the total number of entries, the first entry, last entry, or the page size. And again, those will just be numerical values. So for example, if I choose the page size and then I preview that, you'll see I get 25. So there are 25 entries on a page. And we can change that, for example, to first entry, and we get number 1. Okay, so we've run through all the basics for GravityView. I hope that you're feeling confident to go ahead and start creating views of your own. In the next video, I'm going to show you some additional mini courses that you can go through to gain an even deeper knowledge of GravityView and unlock all of its powerful capabilities.